Shanti. 11th October 2023. Baapdada Sakar Murli. In the essence, Baba says, sweet children, follow Srimad and all your treasure stores will be completely full. Your fortune will become elevated. Question: what has the Siren Age become bankrupt of? Because of becoming bankrupt, what has its condition name become? Answer: the Iron Age has become bankrupt of purity, happiness and peace. This is why Bharat has become the land of sorrow from land of happiness, and like shells from diamonds. This whole play is based on Bharat. The father is now telling you children the beginning, middle and end of this play. Only the fortunate children can understand this knowledge very clearly. Song: no one is as unique as the innocent Lord. Om Shanti. God speaks. Which God? The innocent Lord, God Shiva speaks. The Father explains to you. The teacher's duty is also to explain to you. The duty of the Satguru too is to explain to you. Only Shiv Baba is called the true Baba. He is called the innocent Lord. Shankar cannot be called innocent. It is said of him that when he opened his eye, he burned the world. Shiva is called the innocent Lord of the treasures. That is, he is the one who makes your treasure stores completely full. Which treasure stores? Those of wealth, happiness and peace. The Father has come to make your treasure stores of purity, happiness and peace completely full. In the Iron Age, there is bankruptcy of purity, happiness and peace because Ravan has cursed it. Everyone continues to weep and wail in the cottage of sorrow. The innocent Lord Shiva sits here and explains to you the secrets of the beginning, middle and end of the world. That is, he makes you children Trikaladarshi. No one else knows the drama. Maya has made everyone completely senseless. This play of victory and defeat, happiness and sorrow is of Bharat. Bharat was solvent like a diamond and is now insolvent like a shell. Bharat was the land of happiness and is now the land of sorrow. Bharat was heaven and is now hell. No one except the ocean of knowledge can give you the knowledge of its beginning, middle and end or how it becomes heaven from hell. Your intellects have to have this faith. Those whose fortune is to open, that is, those who are to become fortunate, have this faith. All are unfortunate now. To be unfortunate means to have one's fortune spoiled. They are degraded. The Father comes and makes them elevated. However, hardly anyone understands that Father because he doesn't have a body. The Supreme Soul speaks. There are only pure souls in the Golden Age. In the Iron Age, all are impure. People go to Jagadamba with so many desires. They don't know anything. Even then, the Father says, whatever feelings people worship someone with, I give them the temporary fruit of that. A non-living idol can never give them the fruit. I alone am the one who gives them the fruit and temporary happiness. I am also the bestower of unlimited happiness. I am not a bestower of sorrow. I am the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness. You have come here to claim your inheritance of heaven in the land of happiness. There are a lot of precautions to be observed in this. The Father explains. In the beginning there is happiness, then in the middle the path of devotion begins. So happiness ends and sorrow begins. At that time when devotion begins, the deities fall onto the path of sin, the vicious path. There is happiness in the beginning, whereas sorrow begins in the middle. At the end there is great sorrow. The Father says, I am the bestower of peace and happiness to all. I am making you ready to go to the land of happiness. All the rest will settle their accounts and go to the land of peace. There will be a lot of punishment experienced when the tribunal sits. Baba has explained that people used to sacrifice themselves at Kashi. They speak of Kashi Kalvat, the sacrifice at Kashi. There is a temple to Shiva at Kashi. On the path of devotion, they stay there in remembrance of Shiv Baba. They say, "This is it. I am now coming to you." They cry a great deal and sacrifice themselves to Shiva, and so they receive temporary happiness for that. Here, you sacrifice yourself, that is, you belong to Shiv Baba while alive in order to claim your inheritance for 21 births. There is no question of suicide. While alive, you say, "Baba, I am yours." Those people sacrifice themselves to Shiva. They believe that by dying, they will belong to Shiv Baba, but they don't belong to him. Here, you belong to the Father while alive. You go into his lap and you therefore have to follow the Father's directions. Only then can you become elevated deities. You are now becoming that. You have been making this effort for cycle after cycle. This is not anything new. The world becomes old. In that case, a new one is surely needed. Bharat was the new land of happiness and it is now the old land of sorrow. People have such a stone intellect that they don't understand that there is just one world, that it simply becomes new and old. Maya has locked their intellects and made them completely degraded. This is why they continue to worship the deities without knowing their occupation. That is called blind faith. They spend millions of rupees worshipping the goddesses. They worship them, feed them, and then sink them in the sea. Therefore, that is the worship of dolls, is it not? What is the benefit of that? They celebrate with a lot of pomp and joy and spend so much money. Then, after a week, they sink them in the sea just as people are buried in a cemetery. God speaks. This is the rule of the devilish community, and I make you into the deity community. It is very difficult to make someone have faith because Baba does not have a physical form. The Aga Khan had a physical form and he had so many followers. They used to weigh him in a gold. No emperor had that much praise. The father explains, that is called blind faith. At this time, no one has permanent happiness. There are many who are very bad. Important people commit big sins. The father says, I am the Lord of the poor. The poor don't commit as much sin. At this time, all are sinful souls. You have now found the unlimited Father and yet you repeatedly forget him. Oh, but you are souls, are you not? No one has ever seen a soul. They understand that it resides in the center of each one's forehead like a star. When a soul leaves his body, the body is finished. A soul is like a star, and so surely the Father of myself, a soul, would also be a star like me. However, he is the ocean of happiness and the ocean of peace. How would the incorporeal one give the inheritance? He would surely come and sit in the center of this child's forehead. Souls now imbibe knowledge and go from degradation into salvation. Those who do something will receive the reward of it. If you don't remember the Father, you won't receive your inheritance. If you don't make others the same as yourselves, worthy of claiming their inheritances, it is then understood that they will claim a status worth a few pennies. The Father sits here and explains who the elevated ones are and who the degraded ones are. The elevated deities have been and gone from Bharat. People sing of Heavenly God the Father, but they don't know when Heavenly God the Father comes and makes the world into heaven. You know this, but it is just that you don't make full effort. This also has to happen according to the drama. However much each of you has in your fortune, that is how much you will receive. If any of you were to ask Baba, Baba would instantly tell you what status you will claim if you were to leave your body now, according to your current behavior. However, no one has the courage to ask. Those who make good efforts can understand to what extent they become sticks for the blind. The father also understands when someone is to claim a good status or that a particular child is not doing any service, so will become a maid or servant there. There are maids and servants who sweep the floors, those who sustain Krishna and those who decorate the empress. Those are pure kings, whereas these are now impure kings. So, the impure kings build temples to the pure kings and worship them. They don't know anything. The Birla temple is so big. They build so many temples to Lakshmi and Narayan, though they don't know who Lakshmi and Narayan are. So, how much benefit would they receive? Temporary happiness. They go to Jagadamba, but they don't know that this Jagadamba is the one who then becomes Lakshmi. At this time, your desires of the world are being fulfilled through Jagadamba. You are claiming the kingdom of the world. Jagadamba is teaching you now. She is the same one who then becomes Lakshmi. She is the one to whom people continue to beg from every year. There is so much difference. They beg to Lakshmi for wealth every year. They do not say in front of Lakshmi, I want a child or remove my illness. No, they only ask Lakshmi for wealth. The very name is worship of Lakshmi. They ask Jagadamba for a lot of things. She is the one who fulfills all their desires. You are now receiving the sovereignty of heaven through Jagadamba. From Lakshmi they receive the fruit of wealth, and this is why they worship her every year. They believe that she is the one who gives them wealth. They then continue to commit sin with that wealth. They even commit sin to attain wealth. Your children are now receiving the imperishable jewels of knowledge with which you will become prosperous. You receive the kingdom of heaven through Jagadamba. There are no sins committed there. These matters have to be understood. Some understand this very well, whereas others don't understand it at all. It is not in their fortune. If you don't follow Srimad, you won't become elevated and your status will be destroyed. It has to be understood that the whole kingdom is being established. God, the Father, is establishing the heavenly kingdom and Bharat will become heaven. This is called the benevolent age. At the most, this age lasts for 100 years. All the other ages last for 1250 years. In Ajmer, there is a model of paradise. They show what heaven is like. Heaven would definitely be here, would it not? If someone hears even a little, he will go to heaven. However, if they don't study, they are uneducated. Subjects too are number wise. However, there all the poor and the wealthy have happiness. Here there is nothing but sorrow. In the golden age, Bharat is a land of happiness, whereas in the iron age, it is a land of sorrow. The history and geography of the world have to repeat. God is only one. There is also just one world. In the world, Bharat is first. Bharat has now become old and it has to become new again. No one else knows how the world history and geography have to repeat. Not everyone is the same. There will be different levels of status there too. There are no policemen there because there is no fear there. Here there is fear and this is why there are policemen etc. They have divided Bharat into pieces. There are no partitions in the golden age. Only the one kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan continues. There are no sins committed there. The father says, Children, claim your inheritance of constant happiness from me by following my directions. Only the one Father shows you the path to salvation. You are the Shiv Shakti army that makes Bharat into heaven. You use your bodies, minds, and wealth, everything for this service. That Bapuji chased away the Christians. That was also fixed in the drama. However, there hasn't been any happiness through that. You will receive this and this will happen. Only from the Father are you going to receive something. Everything else is going to end. They ask for there to be birth control. They continue to beat their heads for that. Nothing is going to happen. If a small war breaks out, there will be famine. There will be a lot of violence between one another. Acha. To the sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Baapdada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children. Spiritual children in return to the spiritual father says good morning, Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Thank you so much, Baba. Essence for Dharna, point number 1. You have to sacrifice yourself to the Father while alive. That is, you have to belong to the Father and follow the Srimad of the Father alone. Do the service of making others the same as yourself. Point number 2. Donate the imperishable jewels of knowledge and become like Jagadamba, one who fulfills everyone's desires. Blessing. May you receive the blessing of being an easy yogi and become full of all specialities and be cooperative in service. May you receive the blessing of being an easy yogi and become full of all specialities and be cooperative in service. Explanation to this. Brahmin life is the life full of all specialities. To be a Brahmin means to receive the blessing of being an easy yogi. This is the first blessing of this life. Constantly keep this blessing in your intellect. This means putting this blessing into your practical life. The easy way to keep this blessing constantly is to use it in a serving all souls. To be cooperative in doing service is to be an easy yogi. So, keep this blessing in your awareness and become full of all specialities. Slogan. To give a vision of your form and your elevated destination through the jewel on your forehead is to be a lighthouse. To give a vision of your form and your elevated destination through the jewel on your forehead is to be a lighthouse. Acha. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.